before us. We do have one item. Before we get started, let's do roll call. I am Patrice Horseman. I'm the supervisor for District 1 and also chair of the board. And thank you all for your last minute availability. Appreciate that. So Vice Chair Vasquez.
Hello, everyone. Jeronimo Vasquez, Supervisor, District 2. Glad to see everyone. Thank you.
District 3.
Well, hello, everybody. Matt Ryan, District 3, a middle child.
I'm not going to go there. District 4.
Good afternoon, everyone, staff, and anybody that's on the line. Thank you for joining us for this for our meeting here, and I'm looking to a very productive meeting here. So again, thank you.
And District 5. Supervisor Fowler. Uh-oh. Supervisor Fowler, are you able, you may be having some technical difficulties. Well, why don't, Lindsay, could you mind giving a call and seeing if we can get a hold of Supervisor Fowler? And I know this is supposed to be quick, so can we just go ahead and proceed, and we'll see if we can get her on the line here for the vote. So with that, County Manager, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. One of the items you'll be doing is resolving as the Board of Directors of the Flood Control District. But again, Lucinda Andriani will be presenting consideration of MOA between NRCS and the SHPO regarding the Museum Fire Watershed Protection Plan. And so I'm going to turn it over to, actually, prior to that,
let's have a motion to resolve as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Supervisor Ryan has moved it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Vice Chair Vasquez has seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? It's unanimous. We are now the Flood Control District Board of Directors, and Lucinda Andriani, this is your matter, so please present.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam
and Board
Chair,
of Directors. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry,
ahead,
Lucinda. Madam Chair, I guess I wasn't heard. I am here. This is Lena.
Dynamite.
I apologize.
No problem. Thank you, Lena. Thanks for letting us, and I'm glad you're with us.
Thank
you.
you.
So first, I'd like to say thank you for making time today to consider this really important step in the process of getting to construction of the on and off forest sediment reduction measures that are being funded through the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS. As you will recall from some earlier conversations that we've had, one of the key steps in when you receive federal funding is that there has to be a cultural resources review, survey done, and review of the site. And as you probably remember, one portion of this project, frankly, a fairly small portion, has a remnant of the historic Beale Wagon Road. And with the identification of that historic feature, it was necessary for the Natural Resources Conservation Service to engage the State Historic Preservation Office, and with the goal of working with that party, with the SHPO officer to arrive at a memorandum of agreement, because this project will obliterate that fairly small section of the trail. Probably many of you are aware that this trail extends extensively through California, Arizona, and I believe goes into Texas as well, and New Mexico. It's quite an extensive historic feature, but this small area will be obliterated. And so in that process, we have developed a plan to, in effect, as best we can, mitigate impacts to that, but knowing that we will impact that feature, there are other mitigation measures that are going to be taken, such as we will be engaging a consultant to document the history of the trail that's been collected over the years, and creating some documents and literally a map at the State Museum, the Arizona State Museum, that will be able to be available to others for use in the future. So we're kind of benefiting the science of the history of this historic feature. So this is a critical step. Without approval of this memorandum of agreement, but in the memorandum of agreement is actually between the State Historic Preservation Office and the NRCS, but we are signatories to that agreement because we're the project sponsor for NRCS with NRCS. We're the actual grantee, as you well know. And so, and then the other signatories that are required is the City of Flagstaff, because that element of the project is on city property, as well as the Army Corps of Engineers. And the Army Corps of Engineers, being a federal agency, they too are required to identify any cultural features that are within the drainage system that fall under their jurisdiction. And the Spruce Avenue Wash, it falls under the Army Corps' jurisdiction. So as a result, in effect, I'll say we're, I don't like this term, but we're taking care of two regulatory processes with this process, because this will satisfy the need of the Army Corps to work with the SHPO, as well as NRCS and the district to work with the SHPO and come to agreement. So those two parties have come to an agreement, and we have an understanding by the other three parties, the district, the Army Corps, and the city, that they will be signatories to this agreement. So, so the action today is to approve my ability as flood control district administrator to sign this memorandum of agreement on the district's behalf, and that process then can move forward. This actually is a key step to green lighting the Army Corps to go to their next step, which is to review the plans that have been submitted to them for the project work, and other documents that they require as part of providing us with the Army Corps permit that's needed as well, the Section 404 Army Corps permit. And it'll actually come through a nationwide permit with NRCS and a nationwide 37 permit. So all these regulatory permitting process kind of stack on each other, and this is kind of the first one. So I would appreciate your consideration. Obviously, again, this is an important step in our process. As a quick update on the project, we're at 90% plans, and we are in the process of securing cooperator agreements from the private property owners. The process with the Forest Service, which this also relates to the Forest Service process as well, because the Army Corps has to sign off on the Forest Service project. It's all interlinked. That element of the project is going well as well. It's approaching 90% plans. In fact, the Forest Service has been able to move up the NEPA process, that their approval process for the environmental impact, potential environmental impact of which they'll be issuing a decision the first week of May. And so the goal will be to start construction on Forest the first week of May, assuming, there's no issues in between now and then. That process has closed. They are in their decision process now, working primarily with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We do have a spotted owl pack in this area, in the very northern section of the work that we need to do on forest. And so they're working with them to get the final clearance from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service as well. So lots of moving parts, but this is the key step right now. And if we don't take this step, then we can't follow through with the rest of the steps. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucinda. And I'll tell you, when you're dealing with government, it is never an easy process. It's just one bureaucracy after another. So, but we want to make sure we get these steps in place and done so that we can get this project. I know that both Vice Chair Vasquez and myself, since so much of our districts is in this area. And I just read in the Arizona Republic this morning that they are expecting a higher than average monsoon season. And so it's so important we get this thing moving. So thank you for this, and thank you for staying on top of it and getting us moving and getting the wheels of government in place so we can get this project started. Any other questions, comments from members of the board? If they're Vice Chair Vasquez, any comments? Are you ready for a motion?
No, I was actually gonna just say I'm really excited to see us get this process started and get moving. And if everybody's okay with it, I'd like to make a motion that we proceed in improving the memorandum of agreement between the Natural Resource Conservation Service and the Arizona Historic Preservation Officer regarding the museum fire emergency watershed protection plan project in Flagstaff. I need to read the rest of it. Authorize Lucinda.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And also to authorize Lucinda Andriani to sign on behalf of the Flood Control District as an invited signatory. Board approval of the MOA is necessary to secure the final approval from the SHPO and the NRCS to proceed with construction.
Thank you. We have a motion from Vice Chair Vasquez. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, go ahead. Give it to Lena, please.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any objections, any abstentions? It is unanimous. Lucinda, do you need anything further from us on this?
No, thank you very much. I again really appreciate you stepping out of your day to do a deal with this, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And any closing remarks from the board?
If I may, Madam Chair, just
Absolutely.
thank you. It's just to compliment staff. These are complicated processes. It takes a lot of work to go into them. That they're coordinating and the multiple agencies is a key component. So just a good job to everybody moving this forward. And we need to thank NRCS for their participation as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Any other comments from the board? Supervisor
Madam
Fowler.
Chair. Yes, I just want to thank the staff for, and all the partners. This is years in the making. I mean, every little piece that can be figured out, and it's a huge puzzle. So I just want to thank you, Lucinda, and your staff and all the other partners that are involved. And it's all in the interest of the public safety and well-being. So I just really believe that it's just a great effort, and it's been wonderfully orchestrated. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler.
Thank you.
Any other comments from members of the board? Hearing none, we have finished our work. This is the shortest meeting.
Mayor, thank you, Val. Chair, if you guys could just resolve back as the board.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do I have a motion to resolve back as the Board of Supervisors? Do I have a motion?
Okay, I'll go ahead and make the motion.
Thanks,
So moved.
Supervisor Ryan. And do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All those in favor of resolving as back to the Board of Supervisors? Aye.
Aye.
Any objections, any abstentions? It's unanimous. We are now the Board of Supervisors. So as the Board of Supervisors, we can now adjourn. So thank you all very much and appreciate it. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, Lucinda.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank
All right,
you.
let's get it
Thank you
done.
all.
Bye.
Get her done.
Ta-ta.